I believe the tricks are the same. Maybe I'm wrong. I know that their settings were changed recently, so I'm not exactly 100% sure what's in, what's out. It's still pretty simple. So pretty simple trick settings. Nothing too advanced. Although for this set of players, we've got nothing should be that much of a problem. Got some very experienced players, and it looks like they're off. Unfortunately, we're having some problems with the restream, so our commentary may be a little delayed. So just bear with us until we can get that sorted out.
Yeah, we'll see what our starting items are as we kick things off here, and what elevator we start in for that matter. We start in Talon, right? Oh, it's Scan Visor, a Power Bomb and Charge Beam, and we get missiles in the Artifact Temple. Which means we're going to get our artifacts immediately.
Yeah, and that's always nice. I know, we've been playing with those optimal settings a lot recently, where sometimes you get to Artifact Temple without having scan, and that's just the worst thing. So,
ooh, Lower Mines is required.
Yeah.
I missed that fourth one, though.
I mean, yeah, other than that, not too bad. Nobody wants to go to Fungal Hall B, but it really do be like that sometimes.
And also, oh my goodness, we have to go to Tower of Light.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tower Chambers, so it's still probably going to be Tower Missiles, at least up top.
I wrote abbreviated words of all the keys in chat. Keys, artifacts.
I know it's difficult sometimes, unless you're like me and you just don't play Echoes or watch Echoes. So, and we bombs in Alcove.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Under the ship appears to be a missile. So runners already have a power bomb to start off with too, so that's going to make things a little bit easier going forward. What was the armaments again? Scan Visor, Power Bomb, and was there a third item?
Well, it's just Charge, but that's regular starting item in these settings, so...
Looks like Arrow Razor's first stop is going to be to check not Root Cave, Transport Tunnel B rather.
Yeah. Didn't look like either of them checked the elevator, so interesting choice. I usually like to check the elevator, what is normally the main plaza elevator first, and then you get to make the decision of which elevator to go in. Sometimes the decision's made for you. Unless these are vanilla elevators? I was under the impression that these were random elevators, but I might be mistaken there.
Well, we can definitely see what the story is in a bit. We've got like almost synchronized arm cannon clapping here from our runners.
They are vanilla, okay. Interesting. I wonder why they opted for random start then. I guess that's just how the settings are, so... Gonna be making their way to main plaza then.
Alright, so we've got Wave Beam, we still don't have Morph Ball. Although it's probably... could be behind anything at this point. I'm not sure if point of no return visible only is allowed. Almost perfect elevator sync, by the way.
Yeah, these settings should be
wait a
not
minute.
allowed.
Hold on. These are one-way elevators. I just noticed arrow razors.
That's not a thing in Prime. So
Well, I just noticed that the thing said overgrown, unless it was overgrown cave, not overgrown cavern. That's odd.
that's definitely not a thing in Prime. So I think that was just a miss. You just
Maybe misread.
misread it. I mean, it's a Talon overworld, so you might have just seen that.
I thought I said I saw overgrown cavern, but maybe I am just going crazy. Again, we've been doing Echoes Randomizer for the last 2 weeks, so...
It is a thing. Definitely a thing in Echoes. Another player opting to check Ruined Shrine before going in here. It is possible for it to be Morphball if you'd expected to get Space Jump first. And that's a check I like to do a lot of the time.
Yeah, it looks like they're both going for Hive Mecha. We did see a Power Bomb tank in Ruined Nursery.
Grapple Beam, that's... Oh, then there it is.
Immediately followed by Space Jump.
Yeah. And now the backtrack begins.
So yeah, that puts just about everything in Main Plaza sans the tree in logic.
And okay. Thinking through the logic in my head, I believe Morphball at this point might have to be on Ruined Shrine, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, it could be anywhere in Main Plaza.
Yeah, it could be in Main Plaza. I didn't get a good look at anything in there. We were distracted by the elevator issue.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, no, that's an understandable mistake. It can be difficult to read the elevator sometimes.
I didn't get a good look. That looks like a beam on the half pipe. That's plasma.
Oh yeah, I did see that earlier. Forgot to mention it. So 2 beams right up the start. That's a great find. And
that looks... Is that a suit on grapple ledge? No, it's
no,
Morphball.
that's more. Okay, there we go. Didn't
Thought
see
it was
earlier.
gravity. Thought it was gravity.
Wave beam is always an interesting one to get early because it opens up a lot of these sort of out of the way Chozo checks that you normally wouldn't be able to get to. Like they already know that there's an artifact in Tower Chamber, so Arrow's gonna go ahead and get that and check out what's on Tower of Light. Off going in the same direction. That's Varia, so that's also going to open up Magma Pool and Training Chamber since they have Grapple Beam.
They had pretty much the whole mid and pretty much the whole early and mid Chozo care package, as well as a nice chunk of Magmor access.
Yeah. And then that's going to be kind of the decisions. They can either go into mid and even late Chozo up to potentially Hall of the Elders. They can dip into Magmor. They can go to Phendrana now. Getting Plasma early is always nice to have when you're going into early Phendrana. So that might be on the players' minds right now. But they're just going to get rid of these quick early Chozo checks while they can.
Yeah, both runners demonstrating some nice movement climbing the tower here.
Yeah, opt for some R jumps rather than the dashes. That's interesting strategy. Obviously, just feels more comfortable with those R jumps. The dashes can be a little finicky.
And as per usual, it is Tower of Missiles, but at least Tower Chamber's got something important for once.
And then the horrible slow climb back up the ramp. My favorite.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But now, with so much of shows open, we might see one runner go to Zoid, the other go to
Magmor.
I was gonna say ruined, not ruined fountain.
Gallery, I think you're thinking of. The Morph Ball Tunnel?
Watery Hall. Watery Hall.
Watery Hall, okay. Well, those are in the same direction, so definitely a lot of possibilities for a divergence here.
All right, we got a missile on Vault Ledge.
It's like a missile in Vault.
Yep, definitely a missile.
And Arrow just heading straight to Magmore? Looks like, so alright, nice early divergence. Although with no E-tanks and not a lot of health, that could be potentially extremely dangerous. Okay, it is random elevators, that's
yeah, there we go.
Alright. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go back and check Ruin Gallery, the Morph Ball Tunnel. That's one of those ones where it's really easy to forget, and if it has something, you do not want to find out that there's something there that you forgot.
Oh yeah, give me a minute here. I gotta start writing down elevators now.
So we have confirmed it is in fact random elevators. So that is, I mean, it's still going to make the routing interesting, but... And there we go, Spider in Ruin Gallery. That is a huge find.
Absolutely.
That is going to open up even more stuff in early to mid Chozo.
You know what the crazy thing is? We know Arbor Chamber has an artifact. We're literally just X-ray visor from putting that into logic.
That's very true. Although I would expect many of our players to just go there without it.
Oh, certainly. These two are fairly very well adept at their prime knowledge.
That being said, since there's an artifact in Fungal Hall B, they are going to want to find X-Ray so they can just go straight through. Arrow has to be careful. These War Wasps actually do a lot of damage if you're not careful with them.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do now is take a death due to bees.
And Arrow just trying to play it a little bit safe. Kirby fan pointing out that missing that Spider Ball is not going to be able to check Upper Dynamo, so just going to have to hope that there's nothing good up there. And what just occurred to me, because that Sun Tower elevator was Root Cave, that actually means that this is basically a loop in early Chozo or early Talon. So they're gonna have to find they're gonna have to find Ice Beam at some point in order to get out of this loop.
Alternatively, actually, they're still. Can they get to Hall of the Elders without Ice Beam?
They can. Yeah, now that I think about it, there is one elevator they can get to without Ice Beam, but I think I'd rather find it than let it go. Arrow heading back to Talon, so making either the Root Cave or Frigate Crash Site would be my guess. Okay, looks like they're heading to Root Cave first, probably going to pick up that artifact.
Alright, so now that we've gotten that elevator kerfuffle out of the way... And actually, Arrow Razor making this little quick pit stop to check Root Cave is not a bad idea, considering that he could just go back to Vault through the Transport Tunnel B elevator. In the meantime, meet Zoid.
Thermal for Hop, okay.
As he probably says to the screen, wrong visor.
That doesn't open. No, that doesn't open up anything immediately by itself. But if Ice Beam is somewhere close by, we could be seeing the Frigate play.
It does do
Well,
a few
I was
favors.
and Gravity Suit. I always forget.
I was gonna say it does do a few favors for labs though, if research core is important.
Yeah, it could. It could also mean Thardus, everyone's
Yep.
favorite rock boy. And yeah, Arrow just gonna go ahead and make that loop back to Chozo.
It's not a bad idea, honestly.
It's not. I think many people in this play like to check Frigate Crash Site at least, since they have the option. It's not in logic, but it could potentially have something important there.
I'm actually quite surprised they chose not to choose to stop at Frigate Crash Site, especially with Grapple in tow.
And
That is so appropriate.
And yeah, I just noticed Op mentioning in the race time chat that he did not in fact want that, and using some choice language.
That is hilarious, though. The flamethrower has the flamethrower.
Oh yeah, that's really the best place you can find flamethrower.
The ultimate valid.
And it looked like Reggie found it at the same spot, saying this is a good seed. So
Yeah, at this point, it's really... we just really have to walk all the way to Far Chozo to basically go anywhere else at this point, just because of this awkward loop that we're starting with.
okay, look, I wasn't sure if Arrow Racer was going to check this magma pool training chamber area, but it looks like they did realize, or maybe they just didn't want to take a dip in the acid, which is completely fair.
Yeah, AeroRazor is still running tankless. Did not pick up the Watery Hall energy tank yet. And whoa,
There's
hello.
wow. Okay, what is going on in this seed?
I've heard of all beams before Flogra, but all beams before Zoid in AeroRazor's case?
Yeah. And it's surprising that Op didn't go that way, since they had everything they needed to go there. So.
And that was Wave Buster for AeroRazor. And Lower Vault has for us another energy
All right,
tank.
another E-tank.
We're certainly not going to say no to. We're not going to say no to that at this point.
Yeah, this seed has been really dry as far as E-tanks go. So.
Dry for E-tanks, but low defense, but very good offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Although at some point you're going to want to pick up some E-tanks. The question is, will Arrow Racer go for the E-tank in Watery Hall, since it requires that somewhat janky slope jump?
I would wager so.
Yeah, especially with no E-tanks, that's a little dangerous proposition.
Another thing is, now we can completely clear out Hall of the Elders.
And Op heading back. I did not see if Op checked what was an upper furnace, but it would be difficult to acquire at this point without Spider Ball.
Yeah, Op hasn't picked that up yet.
And now it's going to head to Magpool, pick up that Ice Beam, and his second beam combo.
The major downside, as Chad points out, is that, especially with Spider Ball in tow, there is a whole heck of a lot open right now.
Yeah, really just not many places they can't go. And Gravity Suit, oh my god.
Ooh, that is going to be a big, that's going to be a big break for AeroRazor.
I mean, that is opening up Frigate now, so
Yeah.
that's potentially a huge play that Arrow or someone else could make.
That also opens up two elevators.
I mean, at this point it opens up. I mean, technically, yes, it does. Although I don't know how many of our players are comfortable with reverse bar skip,
Ah, yes.
not having boost ball to be able to open that gate.
That is very true.
Although, again, with all that Arrow has already, not going to really be locked out by many elevators. Although it looks like they're going to check late Chozo first, and I honestly same.
This makes a lot of sense, because again, we can just completely clear out Hall of the Elders, we can clear out Antechamber, yeah, we could just basically clean the whole place out.
And get those 2 elevators at the end, going to be really important for knowledge.
Absolutely.
Looks and Op is going to find Spider Ball relatively soon.
Yeah, assuming he does return to Dynamo in a timely fashion, the late Gravity Suit pickup will not be too punishing. Arrow Razor is giving Op the time required for that, currently fighting Zoid for Flamethrower.
I really hope that, I know that we were confused about the elevator settings. I really hope that Op and our other players are not confused, based on the fact that they didn't check some of the early elevators.
I think they're good at this point.
I hope so, but it's happened before where elevators were random when they weren't supposed to be, or the other way around. So. Now, Op missing out on that gravity suit, they're not going to think to go Frigate, but it could be that Frigate is actually just a bust. There's a lot of elevators without having to go through Frigate.
Yeah.
I was going to say, alternatively, we could just find Phazon in Biohazard Containment.
Oh, jeez. The other thing is, because we have all beams and Spider Ball, we can pretty much access all of the Magmor elevators. And Magmor has a lot of elevators. 5 in total?
That's correct. And at this point, they're really only looking for... I mean, they're looking for Phazon, of course. That can be pretty much anywhere. They're going to want to find X-Ray.
Boost Ball.
Yeah, and yeah, they do in fact need either Boost or X-Ray to get out of lower mines. So.
Well, Life Grove as well. They can't get out of Life Grove.
Oh yes, that's true. I always forget the artifacts. So. I'm glad I have someone keeping track.
Yeah, we're not looking for a whole lot. The problem is we're not looking for a whole lot, but we can explore a whole lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this plays out. It'll be interesting to see if our remaining progression is evenly spread, or if one runner just so happens to have it all fall on their lap.
I mean, yeah, and the good news is lots of point opportunities for divergence, and we're already seeing that. Still just exploring like Chozo at this point, but a lot of, depending on what those late elevators are, could make a huge difference.
I do think Op is probably going to make a quick the trip to Frigate Crash Site after this.
Yes, I agree, and check the elevator, and probably go that way if it's favorable. At this point, I think the only elevator you wouldn't want to see there is a mines elevator, because you don't want to go into mines at this point without at least having boost ball, at least having some way to get out of lower mines.
Pretty much. Alright, looks like Arrow Razor's all caught up on energy tanks now. Our runners are actually neck and neck right now, save for that gravity suit.
Looks like just had a little bit of autopilot there, was heading back to Chozo, but then realized Frigate Crash Site was in play.
Looks like Op is going to make Quick pit stop for the missile near the ship. I would call it a ship missile, but this is not corruption. Arrow Razor, meanwhile, is making the far Chozo dive. Crossway, just a missile. Alright, we know Overgrown Cavern is an artifact, but let's see what is under Overgrown Cavern. It is another energy tank. Alright, so the energy tank situation is starting to iron out a little bit.
I would say at this point, one more E-tank prop and they'll be comfortable. And demonstrating one of the 1 million different ways to climb frigate crash site.
Yeah, it really just amazes me how many different ways a single place can be skipped.
Yeah. So far, super is not required as far as we can see, but definitely going to make things easier. If they do end up fighting OP, going to make EXO easier. So definitely a nice thing to have, but at the same time, you kind of hope they're not required.
Alright, so this elevator will be taking us to Far Chozo. So unfortunately, we still don't have we're still, well, we're going to get another elevator now, but unfortunately, we still haven't found any of the other areas of the world. This appears to be the Talon/Chozo tour.
I mean, it would not surprise me if this last elevator just ends up going to Life Grove, so...
Oh, that would be so stupid if it was.
I think the worst would be actually Life Grove lower, because then they would need Boost Ball to get to that last elevator.
Oh yeah, to get to Great Tree Upper.
Or have to do reverse bar skip, so...
That just sounds like a bad time all around. And despite the minor divergence, we had both runners now in the same room.
Yep. Albeit in opposite directions. It is certainly front-loaded, but I found that front-loaded seeds tend to be really sparse after that. So I have a feeling we're gonna have Phazon in a very bad location.
It's definitely possible, unless of course it's just chilling right here in Elder Chamber. Nope.
I would have checked Crash Site earlier, back when he went back for Root Cave, I think. Actually, I might not have. I am the kind who tends to ignore Crash Site unless it's in logic.
Well, here's the
But
thing.
Overgrown did have an artifact, so
Well,
I'd say it's a 50-50 for me at least.
Yeah, it's going to be very curious to see how this plays out. I think it's going to, in Arrow Razor's case, if he goes straight to Frigate Crash Site, it's going to depend on if Arrow finds Boost Ball, which we know will not be the case in Talon.
I mean, it could be in Frigate.
It could be. It could be in Hydro Access Tunnel, or... Oh, wait a minute. That is a Magmore elevator, and I did not see where that went.
That was Monitor Station.
Thank you.
So unfortunately, the dream of the horrendous Chozo Talon complete, I don't know what we want to call it. Trap. The Chozo Talon trap, I guess. will unfortunately not be realized. But Arrow could still make a play for Frigate at this point. I don't think they will, but it's at least possible.
Okay, so Monitor Station is the one that dumps out near Transport Tunnel A, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm surprised Arrow Razor didn't go for that, because that is one item. Not to mention the Warrior Shrine checks.
I think Arrow wanted to check both elevators before making a decision.
Fair enough.
And since he knows the artifact is an overgrown, this is an easy, quick check.
Yeah, again, given what we now know and how much is open, it's going to be really hard to predict what our runners do.
I think it's kind of surprising. I don't think Ott checked the monitor station elevator, so that they're heading back to the front of Chozo.
That is true.
Not a whole. Okay, they're checking Dynamo.
Okay, so Op's going to get Gravity Suit.
Yeah.
This is going to work to his benefit.
Yeah, I think this makes sense, and a lot of players would do the same. They know it's here. They don't want to risk it being something important, especially with how early Spider was. Unfortunately, it's going to be Grav Suit, so that's going to open up some unfortunate possibilities.
Yeah, we'll see if Op decides to to head right back to Frigate or continue to check the monitor station. It really just could be either or because, again, we've got so much wide open to us. But it looks like Arrow Razor is going to climb Frigate Crash Site and return to Chozo.
Yeah, I'm just taking a dip, grabbing the artifact in E-Tank. And I think this makes sense. There's so many checks in Magmore that you want to go back there. It's also the only real option. I mean, it's not the only option, but I think it's certainly the most favorable option at this point.
Indeed, and again, we can reach all of the Magmore elevators, and they're all going to tell us a new story here. Arrow Razor is having quite some difficulty climbing Frigate Crash Site here.
Yeah, a lot of the standable terrain here is like very thin, so somewhat easy to slip off.
We're sure Arrow Razor just doesn't have a Trilogy ISO running, right?
Well, I mean, I'd be impressed if this was a Trilogy ISO and had scan dashing and all that nonsense.
Yeah, for those not aware, the Trilogy version basically patched all the standable terrain to just be slidable terrain instead. Although this started getting patched down, I think, as early as Player's Choice, right? And PAL.
I mean, I'm not familiar with the exact specificities of every single thing they patched in which version, but all I know is that this is the good version, and the others all bad. So.
That's one good way to describe it.
This is why I'm one of the people who's like not super hyped about theoretical Prime Trilogy HD.
Fair enough. Kind of like how some folks were bummed that the Switch version of Mario 64 is the Shindo version, which doesn't have BLJing. Alright, Op has returned to Far Chozo. Let's see where he chooses to go with this.
Well, his only option is to check that far elevator or to go through Frigate, and once he sees what that far elevator is, he's gonna beeline straight for Magmore.
And it looks like, indeed, Op is going straight for the Magmore elevator.
Yeah, so that actually, I would say, puts Op in a slight lead over Arrow. Getting to that elevator first. They have identical trackers. Might be a few slight differences in terms of missile count, but
they are now effectively neck and neck.
Arrow just very slightly behind.
Yeah, and in a race like this, things could turn on a dime either way.
Absolutely. There's still lots of possibilities for divergence, depending on whether they want to go early, Magmore, They might I mean, in random elevator settings, it's always possible that you find an elevator that you just absolutely love, and just decide to take it without going back and checking the rest of them. Oh,
I'm taking a bit of a dive there. Thankfully, not diving into the low. Oh, got bullied by turrets, though.
yeah, always turrets. And opting to just to climb the standable terrain instead of going back for the dash.
Warrior Shrine having just another set of missiles.
And another E-Tank.
Alright, so we're gonna now see lower fiery shores.
And another E-Tank.
And looks like Op is electing to pick it up. Not a bad call.
I mean, obviously every player is different with how comfortable they feel on certain amounts of E-Tanks. I think knowing that you have to go into lower mines, it makes sense to pick up a few more.
Yeah, you never know if you can have a vanilla Phazon suit for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the real danger in lower mines is the beam pirates. They really chunk you.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's so many of them. I honestly think the beam pirates are more dangerous in the OP fight than OP at this point.
All things considering, they really are. OP, you can at least manipulate and cheese.
Yes.
Triclops pick contains for us today another power bomb. Looks like Arrow Razor is busting out of Magmore here.
Yeah, they must have often checked the Twin Fires elevator, so this must have been it.
Ooh, that's not going to work out in Arrow Razor's favor, though, because Op has just found super missiles in a storage cave.
That's a great find. Again, you never really want super to be required, but if you find them, you're happy to take them.
Okay, so this looks like it's the Great Tree Upper elevator, right? Yeah, Great Tree Upper.
One check that Arrow Razor can do right now, and it's another E-Tank. Could potentially go for bar skip if they want to check that lower elevator, or do reverse frigate. Or just head back. And I think a lot of players would make that same play. It's one quick check, and it's really far you don't know how potentially far it is to get back there. And you don't want to risk having like boost or I was going to say X-ray, but X-ray can't be there. You don't want to risk having boost there, which has happened, and it's really annoying.
To answer question, Chad, we are looking for boost ball and we're looking for boost ball for go mode artifacts. We need Phazon suit for an X-ray visor, but we need Phazon suit, of course, because why wouldn't we for final bosses?
And so far, Magmore is basically looking like E-Tank Caverns.
Yeah, and also it was
super. So
also, I should correct myself. It was Storage Cavern that had supers, not Storage Cave. Storage Cave is that annoyingly hidden plasma door in Far Fendrana.
Yeah, that's right. Metro definitely really good at game design, but not so much at the naming conventions.
It only gets a tiny bit better in Echoes, too.
Oh yeah, in-cache.
In-cache 1 through 4. Cache A, B. Storage A through D.
So interesting thing here is Op finding main quarry elevator. That is it's kind of a good thing, bad thing. It's good to know where it is, but it's also super out of the way. And I think realizing that it's going to be hard to get back there, going to go ahead and go there. Can do a decent amount of the checks here.
Arrow Razor is choosing to get the workstation artifact now.
And this is one of those things where Divergence comes into play because Arrow just skipping all those early Magmor checks for now, and unfortunately is going to miss out on supers until they go back there. So. Yeah, and so to continue on from that, boost is hard required no matter what, because of that life orb artifact. Phazon is required to the final bosses, and since there's an artifact in Fungal Hall B, they are going to want to find X-Ray, so they can just blow through Omega Pirate instead of having to go all the way back.
Yeah, that is one thing that that does amaze me, is that if like Lower Mines, if that far into Lower Mines is required, it is just faster to fight the boss.
If you have the right equipment, OP is not really a long boss compared to either Flagra or Thardus. And it drops you off in a really nice place as far as getting to other locations is.
I don't know, at this rate, PPC is going to be taking us to far Fendrana. Speaking of X-Ray.
There it is. All right, so now Op is actually in the position where they can just do exactly what I just said, blow right through Lower Mines. Get that artifact. But still gonna need boost ball at some point, no matter what.
At this rate, I'm just gonna bank that boost ball is in security station A.
Yeah, could be.
Charge Ice Beam is very powerful, by the way.
Really is. Op had some trouble with the R-Jump earlier, so I think reasonably decides I'm just gonna take the safe route. Don't want to risk falling down again.
Alright, so the workstation power bomb elevator takes us to... Let's see.
Quarantine
Thardus.
Cave. Alright. And Arrow's gonna take it. Now let's see, the last... Okay, so Workstation, Fungal Hall B, and Life Grove are the last three. So there's no artifacts in Ventrana, so this is really just a play by Arrow to hope to find Boost Ball. Or something else, but we already know X-Ray's not gonna be there, so...
Yeah, we're just looking for a Boost Ball and Phazon Suit, and there's a lot of places those could be. Boost Ball not so much, but Phazon Suit, yeah, just about everywhere. It's the Ice Rod of this game.
It's the Ice Rod, it's the Light Arrows. It's, I don't know, whatever else, other kinds of items are basically useless, but required nevertheless. It's definitely not impossible. Thardus could have Phazon, Thardus could have Boost Ball.
On the subject of Thardus, we will be fighting him.
Yeah, and Arrow's gonna find out. I think this is one of those big risk, big reward plays. Personally, I never like to fight Thardus.
Yeah, Thardus is definitely the slowest of the three major bosses in the game, for sure.
Yeah. The good news is that Arrow has 2 power bombs and plasma, so gonna be as quick as it possibly can, which is still really slow.
Yeah, a little fun fact is that Thardus is coded specifically to be a tad bit weaker than normal to Plasma Beam. 1.5 times, I want to say.
I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely it's an interesting weakness for Thardus to have, especially when Plasma already does so much damage.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to make sure Thardus was vulnerable to like all known damage types, just as a backup in case, you know, God forbid you did have Plasma coming to this point, the game wouldn't just crash if you shot Plasma at Thardus. because then that would be the equivalent, if you don't have any coding for it, that'd be the equivalent to making the game divide by 0. And when you divide by 0, you destroy the universe.
I mean, Samus is no stranger to mass destruction, so...
Not at this point in the series, to be fair. Because Prime 1 takes place before she starts blowing up planets.
That is true. Although, with the enthusiasm with which she does it, you can tell she's been wanting to do it for a long time. Been her dream ever since she was a little girl.
I'm almost wondering if Nintendo's going to, like, acknowledge the meme of blowing up planets, like, in some, like, additional humorous fashion in Prime 4.
I mean, it would not surprise me, so...
It's like, when the planet explodes, like, Samus starts rolling her eyes or something. It's like, ah, here we go again.
Find some nice space pirate log buried away talking about how she's blown up 3 or 4 of our planets.
Alright, Thardus had for us today a missile.
Yeah. And that is the risky take with Thardus. So... Say goodbye to Calvin.
Yeah, we call that Pirate Calvin.
Now, I'm using an interesting little trick here. You can very slightly move the laser without boost ball by getting into the right position, manipulating the camera a bit. And it's going to be able to open that door and check what's on the other side there. Is that Phazon?
I couldn't tell if that was Phazon or a missile. It was a little, resolution is a little too low on the comm stream for me to get a good idea.
Like he took a second look at it, so it feels like it must have been something worth looking at.
I'll give the bot a quick look at it in about 20 seconds when once Twitch has it sorted out. Meanwhile, Arrow Razor is checking out Farfandrana.
I mean, you have all the tools. I should say most of the tools to clear out Fandrana. That is boost in upper. Nope, that's an E-tank. No, there goes. There's the blurry commentary stream again.
Now that would have been hilarious if
I swear it legitimately looked like boost. So
yeah, boost is kind of tough to make out at long distances, just because it gives off almost the same coloring as an energy tank. Also, I would have laughed if it was boost ball in there's another energy tank. If it was boost ball in lower gravity chamber, it's like you thought it was up top, but it was on the bottom. You thought you were fighting a Metroid, but it was me, Ridley. Yeah, by the way, Elite Pirates, as threatening as they are rock stupid. If they don't see you, you're not there.
I mean, they are basically like they don't really have object permanence fully developed yet, so
yeah. Looking for a drop. I assume possibly out of power bombs.
Yeah, I don't think those boxes can drop power bombs, but at the same time, what can and can't drop stuff in Prime is an enigma. It's a mystery. Nobody knows.
Don't have to tell me twice. That's +1 for echoes.
And Op is diving in.
Oh, Arrow Razor's out of power bombs too.
Oh, the classic.
That'll complicate things.
Just get lucky and get the main power bombs up here. Yeah, just missed it.
That would have been funny.
Kind of surprised Op didn't farm power bombs from the boxes there. Those are guaranteed drops, at least 3 of them.
Might just not be thinking about it.
Maybe, but you're definitely going to want power bombs to get through the rest of lower mines.
Very true. Upon further investigation, I have confirmed that it is main power bombs in the rubble, back in the mining laser room in Elite Research.
That's why you looked. I guess that's one of the few places you can't really see the glow, since it's not really you can't really see it. So
that threw me off for a little bit too, because I didn't think it was a suit, but it
yeah,
didn't also look like a missile either.
Yeah, it did not look like a missile or E-tank, which is why I initially thought phase on. It looked too big to be boost ball. So main power bombs actually makes sense there.
Good spot for it, to be fair, if you're like heading on your way through mines the first time with boost ball, but unfortunately we don't have boost ball.
Yeah.
Judging by how little we've found so far, it's probably in a really stupid spot. It's probably just hanging out in Phendrana shorelines, all things considering. Oh, Arrow Razor just went down the hill.
And Op found something in the MQA? Except... Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Ice Spreader. It's like, it looked like tall and thin. And apparently thinks that's worth it to get. I mean, it is helpful against Exo. But
yeah,
this is I mean, it's not super time consuming and to get.
Well, it also might do you if you were saying earlier how the beam pirates are the most dangerous thing about OP. You know, in case we get ice pirates, you know, Ice Spreader's pretty much a one-hit KO.
Yeah, that's true. Although ice pirates are not that difficult to deal with since you can freeze them.
True.
Apparently, you cannot freeze them in later versions of the game. So they actually go from being the easiest beam pirates to deal with to the hardest. So the icons on the tracker are based on the in-game models. So like top left, we have Charge Beam. And then next to that, we have Morph Ball. Under that, we have Supers. So, I mean, if you have any questions about which icon is which, we can answer those.
Arrow Razor, meanwhile, continuing a reverse trek through labs, didn't pick up what was in research course, so it wasn't that important, especially since the lights are still on in here. Dark Lab scared the living daylights out of me as a kid.
And now it's just annoying. Oh, it looks like Edward did not break the glass. And that's just something that can happen sometimes. It's not entirely random, but it's not really controllable whether or not the glass gets broken there. There is talk in the community about seeing if that can be fixed, if you can make that consistent, but not in this version. So.
Alright, I don't think Op is going to go and check Phazon Mining Tunnel. Well, might just peek at it with Scan Visor. We know
yeah, I was going to peek it at least, but...
Yeah. It was a mistake.
I was going to say, the worst case scenario for that would be Boost Ball.
Which would be hilarious.
Yeah. Although I don't think Boost Ball can be in lower mines in these settings. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't think that trick to turn the drill is in logic in these settings.
Well, you can get there through waste processing. They have everything needed to get through there. I think the issue is that it might be considered a point of no return.
Looks like Op is going to take a quick safety save here.
Oh, missile refill.
Missile refill, yeah. That's actually not a bad idea.
It's a great idea. He was pretty low, and you want to have missiles for OP, especially since he does have supers to do the Well, to do the super strat, I should say.
It's also nice to remind the audience that missile refill rooms are a thing in this game, even though there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, that's probably the only one you occasionally see used if players get down here with low missiles.
And let's see what Arrow Razor finds after making Samus shout timber. Just another missile.
Alright, so getting a report that Uncle Reggie's found Phazon on his stream. Unfortunately, we don't have that up, so can't say where he is relative to the other players.
Yeah, so far, this Vendrana dive for Arrow Razor, not really finding anything else that we're looking for.
No, just completely dry.
It's even more dry in, like, energy tanks, because Ob even has more energy tanks right now than Arrow Razor. Arrow Razor's running plenty of missiles, though. Observatory also only had missiles, so yeah, this labs play is pretty dry.
And without supers or X-ray, he's not going to be able to check Hydra. So we're just going to have to pray that that's not anything important.
Oh, that's true.
One of only 2 checks that Arrow can't get, and unlike the other one, Arrow can't even see this one. So at least you can see what's in the upper shorelines. Yeah, and that's, yeah, unless Boost Ball is somewhere in Vendrana, this is a complete waste of time, but that's how it goes in Randomizer.
Yeah, I find that in Prime, usually the game puts something everywhere, but in Echoes, we've had a lot of cases lately where besides keys, Sanctuary Fortress has had, like, nothing. It's been, like, spaghetti your way through Aegon and Temple Grounds, get your Go Mode items in Upper Torvus, and then presto, you can finish the seed.
Unfortunately, I'm not sufficiently familiar with Echoes to know whether that's common or not. Like, I would imagine Sank does not have too much stuff usually anyway, because of how much you need to get there, but then again, there are random elevators in play, so...
No, it's usually the other way around. Usually Spider Guardian, or at least last year, Spider Guardian was like half the time required, but not the case so far as of late.
Yes, Spider Guardian.
Ooh, Op did not get the quick skip.
But got Plasma Pirates, so those are easy to deal with.
Yeah, the extra fire damage helps.
Ooh, Op? I don't think Op, remember, you have to fire, at some point you have to fire 2 missiles. It's 2 missiles, super, and then either super or power bomb. Although it might still be able to get it if the timing is just right. Okay. Good fight.
Very nicely done. And now the visual effect is going to show Phazon suit here, but what we actually get will be displayed in text, so let's see.
Oh god, I really hope it's vanilla.
It has happened. New
Just a missile.
disappointment.
It could still be in PCA, so let's not give up hope quite yet.
Alright, Arrow Razor checking Canyon. If we have a Nell boost ball, I'm also gonna laugh.
Just a missile in PCA.
Yeah, the seed's kind of come to a standstill ever since we found ever since Ob found
That's Phazon
Supers.
suit in Canyon.
Ooh,
So
okay.
finally the Fendrana play pays off for Arrow.
Well, now we'll see where this elevator. I think, actually, trying to think about it, I think this Vendrana elevator can't take us to, or this the PPC elevator probably takes us to Magmore. Otherwise, if it takes us to Vendrana, oh, it could take us to Talon too. What is that? A missile? Yeah, missile.
Well, there's some possibilities.
Yeah, I doubt that this elevator will take us to Fendrana Shorelines. There wasn't a whole lot going on in the ice ruins for Air Razor.
A missile in the lighthouse.
Thoris, we're still missing one of the workstation elevators. And I think that's it. Yeah, we're missing one workstation elevator. There's another power bomb for Air Razor. Did you see Arrow by chance check the other workstation elevator? Because I certainly did.
I did not. It
Oh,
appeared to me that you did not check it, so...
wow, lucky break for Op. This does go to Fendrana Shorelines.
Alright, so Op is gonna... I mean, the unfortunate news is that without finding Boost Ball, then Op is most likely gonna full clear. Unless it's right there!
Well, that'll
In
complicate
lower
things.
Fendrana Shorelines. So Op is gonna be in go mode in... 5 minutes.
Wow. So, I was right. Something was chilling in Shorelines. It just wasn't Phazon suit.
That is... It's hard to overstate how fortunate this is for Op's routing.
Absolutely. And this after Op had to kind of put off Spider Ball and by extension, or put off Gravity Suit for a bit just for the late Spider Ball, but it looks like Gravity Suit was just a red herring today.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I was hoping for a pretty good play, but...
Yeah, all things considering, this really wasn't a bad seed at all. You just had to kind of go the long way to get to Fendrana Shorelines, that's about it. Because, yeah, Fendrana Shorelines, the only two elevators to Fendrana are in, if I can check my list here, the PPC elevator or the Magmore Workstation ice elevator.
Mm-hmm. And I think that means that lower... or that the other workstation elevator has to go to lower life row. So actually, that's going to work out fantastic for Op. Because Quarantine Cave straight into Workstation, and then Workstation straight to Life Grove, and then technically you could do reverse Frigate to get back to Artifact Temple. So we might actually end up seeing Frigate anyway, if I'm remembering the elevators correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the other Workstation elevator has to be the Great Tree lower. Because, yeah, at this point, we've seen all the Chozo elevators. We haven't seen one Magmore, and we haven't seen one Talon, but we've seen both the Mines and Fendrana elevators. So, yeah, the second workstation elevator has to go to... the first workstation elevator, rather, has to go to Great Tree lower.
Yeah. So, both players are missing the Life Grove artifact. Op is missing the Workstation artifact, and Arrow is missing the Fungal Hall B artifact. And it looks like Arrow is going straight for lower mines, so unfortunately they're not going to be able to... They're going to have to go all the way back out once they get to Fungal Hall B.
Yeah, and the another thing is supers are not... supers aren't going to be too... supers weren't helpful either for progression either. Just
Yeah, not required, but super helpful for OP and... going to be super helpful for Exo once we get there. And Arrow is, I don't think, going to find them.
Yeah, because supers were in... where were supers? Supers were actually in Mag. I should correct.
Storage
myself.
cavern.
Yeah, storage cavern. They were in Magmore. They weren't even in mines.
Yeah.
It was X-ray that was in main quarry. That's right. I doubt Arrow Razor's gonna fight. Arrow Razor might fight Cloak Drone here. Let's see.
Well, he's gonna have to fight it on the way out, so...
Oh, he's on the other side of the firing squad. Never mind. I thought that was the... He was going from in to out for some out to in for some reason.
And Arrow, I think, basically feels like he's in go mode, based on the way he's playing. Not gonna bother looking for X-ray, and probably not gonna find it, honestly.
Yeah, Arrow could certainly get away with it at this point. Both runners have demonstrated some pretty good movement throughout the entirety of this last hour.
Mm-hmm.
And
but as you can see, not having X-ray makes finding these platforms a pain.
Very true, but at 1:06:35, off 82 is in go mode. Now, the one thing is, I don't think Op knows that. I don't think Op knows that the Thardus elevator takes him to workstation, so I'm not sure if he's going to make a beeline for that, or...
That is true. He could potentially... But going back through mines would be quite a pain. So I think Op is going to press forward and hope that the elevators work out. At this point, there's not too many places they could go. And Op might think that it either has to go to work. I think at this point, Op knows that it either has to go to workstation or life grove, which works out either way for him. So
that is true. He checked both of the. He has checked both of the Far Chozo elevators.
The real question is he going to fight Thardus? Is he going to try to skip Thardus? Is he going to go through labs? Unlike, I don't think so, but... At this point, fighting even fighting Thardus would actually be faster than going through labs, I think.
I think so, too. Yeah, going all the way through labs, through Observatory, Control Tower... You know, Control Tower is not too bad if you get the skip, and even still.
Yeah. And could just get lucky and hop right over Thardus.
Ooh, I think the platform just debated Arrow Razor there. Pulled a fast one. Yeah, Arrow Razor is having a bit of trouble getting through MQA here.
And, okay, he's gonna go for it. This can be a mite finicky, so very easy to bonk your head. Oh, yeah, and sometimes you just don't get the dash.
Well, this is going to be a quick fight for off 82 anyway.
Yeah.
No, looks like Arrow Razor's just about gotten over MQA. Nicely done.
Let's just hope they don't go for Ice Spreader.
Oh,
no.
Turning around.
Doesn't have any power bombs though, so that's a no-go.
That might actually be a blessing in disguise for Arrow Razor at this point.
It might, but he has to come back here anyway, so
Exactly.
yeah.
Six.
I literally thought that right after I realized, so hopefully can pick up some power bombs. And of course, in addition to our two runners being restreamed, we have 4 other racers in the channel. No one is finished yet. We got Inner Slice, Robo Scout, Uncle Reggie, and Pyro Paper Planes. Pyro Paper Planes asking, "Honey, where is my Super B?" And I'm not sure if that's a reference to super missiles or to Speed B.
Honey, where's my suit? But yeah, artist is already down for op. That was really quick. We were barely able to even get the joke out.
If Pyro hasn't found Ice Beam by now, I have questions. So.
Alright, but yeah, Op's gonna just mosey on out. This will put him right into workstation.
Yeah, as we say, using Thardus as hallway. And Op is going to get the good news.
Arrow Razor discovering that Metroid Prime 1 is still running on GameCube collision detection. Because I'm absolutely certain he just stopped in place after going 20 miles an hour, which would normally be very uncomfortable physically, but bird DNA and Chozo technology probably has really good inertial dampeners.
Yeah, I mean, once you've been transformed into a wall, you're pretty much up for anything.
Exactly.
Like, how could it get much worse than that? She's gone through so much stuff in there. She's been squished, and you know.
Alright, the pirates have a very very concerning fascination with that door.
And Arrow now having to make the long trek back up lower lines.
I'm just finding this interesting that the pirates, while this is all going on, it's like the pirates haven't stopped yet. It's like the pirates don't follow cutscene logic.
Yep. It's too bad for them that Samus is basically just as invincible during cutscenes as she is normally.
Just about, but, yeah.
You know, you have to respect them for trying. And Arrow's not gonna get Ice Spreader. They don't. Oh, they're still out of power bombs. Wow, they didn't get a single drop.
I think Arrow Razor got a drop. It had to burn it for Fungal Hole. Oh no, Fungal Hole B didn't need power bombs.
The one in Face on Mining Tunnel.
Yeah.
That has the debris. And Op's gonna get the second piece of good news.
Yeah, Op's the routing is literally just gonna fall on his lap here. And we know there's absolutely nothing left. There's no unique items anymore.
Right. So at that point, it's just reverse frigate, I would imagine, unless the other elevators are better, but I don't think they are.
No, at this point, Great Tree Upper led to Farchozo, so that would just be worse. And then the other Farchozo elevator led back to Magmore. Does get the bomb drop, though. No need for reverse bar skip shenanigans today.
And the real question I want to ask is who in the race actually did go for the frigate play?
Yeah, that is a good question, because Frigate seemed like a potential play very early on in the game just because of where Gravity and Thermal were. Oh, looks like the door locked on Arrow Razor, so he's got to fight the cloaked drone, wherever it is.
Yeah, well that's what happens. That's when the fight activates. So you do have to fight there if you want to get back out, no matter what.
Now, does Arrow Razor still have to do the maze to avoid risking a game crash if going out the other way?
Well, the doors don't lock, or the doors don't unlock until you finish the maze.
Okay.
So, and getting severely life-broke tunneled right now.
Absolutely. It's really just best to not hold a direction until you're on the edge of the half-pipe. But anyway, let's see how many squares Arrow Razor's maze is.
Well, this looks bad.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks really bad.
This is 21 at that first puddle.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, this is bad.
Wow, that's... Ooh, my god.
47 squares.
Horrendous.
Yeah, that's definitely upper tier of bad squares. This could be anywhere from, I think, 17 to 57 squares, not counting 53. Odd numbers only. But yeah, that's off 6
like
artifact.
That.
Yeah, that's off 6 artifact. Yeah, Op's gonna be happy. Now, granted, the maze isn't the same for every runner, like Blue Balls and Ganon teleports are in the Link to the Past randomizer, but yeah, Op's gonna be feeling pretty good about not having to deal with that.
Gonna check this elevator just to try and figure out the elevator situation. Oh, that actually went to Twin Fires?
Overgrown Cavern.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Overgrown Cavern went to Twin Fires.
And now he's trying to figure out, and yeah, that's gonna be a no-go. So.
Yeah, at this point, it's just better to apparently not.
Or okay, well, he's waffling a bit. Understandable. No one wants to do frigate, so even reverse frigate. So, but
yeah,
in this case, it's absolutely got to be the best option.
Yeah, you have Gravity Suit. You don't have to hit the switches going backwards, so you might as well. It's actually, I think reverse frigate is from what I've seen, reverse frigate seems like a fairly smooth ride, if nothing but a long walk.
It's still got some annoying parts, like here. There's some weird... It's very easy to bonk in here for some reason. Op makes it through cleanly.
I think the first half is a little slow because you're going up, but the other half you're going down.
Yeah. In general, there's just a lot of obnoxious terrain in here. And not a lot of opportunities to go fast.
Yeah. And going back on Op, having a little bit of indecision there, I've done the same thing too with random elevators.
It is really hard to keep track of in your head. No, we're not even going to find out what was in Biocon.
Not at this point.
Not that it matters, because it was either a Miscellany tank or a power bomb expansion.
Actually, what's the power bomb cap in Prime 1?
Well, so the thing is that there's the mains, and then there's 4 expansions. But if you start with one, there's still 4 expansions shuffled in.
Ah, okay.
So technically there are 5 expansions available, including the starting one in this seed.
So yeah, it could have been a PP tank.
Yeah.
You know what item would be really helpful for this? Gravity boost. It's too bad this isn't Echoes.
The gels ups would still find a way to mess you up.
Oh yeah.
That's really the scariest part of this room. It's not the climb, it's the gels ups. I'm hearing it reported that Uncle Reggie is starting Metroid, so...
So Op's not too far behind if that's the case, only by about 3 minutes?
Something like that. I'm bad at time estimates and stuff like that, so...
Me too, to be perfectly honest. Still not a tremendously long gap. Because at this point, Op just has to basically go out of frigate and presto, he's already back at landing site.
Oh, yeah. Apparently he is actually now at Exo, so...
Never
a little
mind.
further behind than that. Still fairly close, though.
Yeah, all things considering, again, this seed wasn't really that bad.
And I see that Inner Slice, to the surprise of absolutely no one, has finished in first. So GG's to Inner Slice.
Yeah, just finished with the official race time GG time of 1:22:16. Oh wait, the stream hasn't caught up to that yet. Oops.
We're from the future.
Well, only by about 1 minute, but even still. So yeah, this was a very interesting start. Very front-loaded, and everybody had pretty much the same gear once they finished clearing out Talon and Chozo. It was really just the split for Arrow Razor choosing to dive Fendrana while Op deciding to dive Mines.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, what was really unfortunate was, at least for Arrow Razor, was not that Fendrana was like really dry. It was the fact that the elevators worked out perfectly in Op's favor, so that they could get boost and then phase on and be in go mode.
By Interslice in the Twitch chat. Interslice GG to you, fantastic play. Op's not too far behind you, starting the Meta Ridley fight.
It looks like Pyro's in about the same position. So it looks like a lot of our racers are going to actually end up being pretty close.
I think it's because of, if you dive lower mines, you were going to run into Fendrana shorelines anyway, and if you went through Fendrana, you were at least going to fall into Boost Ball and Phase on soon, so... take your pick on how you want your progression to go. Also, by the way, Meta Ridley hates Boost Ball for some reason. Retro Studios, folks. Nah, we love you, Retro Studios. We have a great trilogy.
So really, it wasn't that bad for Arrow. It's just that going the other way was slightly favorable. Like, really the only issue was having to go back through lower mines the opposite way and not having X-ray. Looks like Arrow's just trying to find X-ray or supers here just to get a little extra edge. Because unfortunately they are going to have some trouble on those final bosses without supers or the other visor, so...
Yeah, and Arrow didn't get Ice Spreader either, so that is a complicated play at this moment.
Just
Arrow is running on 9 energy tanks now, so 9 energy tanks, 3 suits, that should be fairly solid.
Yeah, it's not really an issue of potentially dying as much as it is just having to take longer.
So Interslice is saying in the Twitch chat had some minor routing issues and forgot he had Varia for a bit. Although to be fair, everybody else dipped Magmore pretty late after exploring this loop of Chozo Talon elevators we had. So But yeah, the first two elevators were really interesting because the first elevator was vanilla, and then the second one was back to Talon through Root Cave, no less. Interslice is saying he rushed Frigate as a result of not remembering Varia.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was a reasonable play to make, like I said earlier, given on what the seed was giving you at the time, so I don't really think Frigate was necessarily a bad play. And I think the way the elevators worked, it might have actually been a good play.
Yeah, because Great Tree Upper takes you to Twin Fires. And Lower takes you to
Works. So that's an artifact right there.
Alright, we are on the final bosses now. Razor is having some trouble getting out of Life Grove, unfortunately. This is a very difficult R jump to make.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those ones that can be extremely finicky, and I find this is one of those tricks where if I fail it once, I tend to fail it over and over again.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same bandwagon when it comes to the task jump and screw attack into Dynamo Works Tunnel for Echoes.
Yeah, there's just some tricks where you think you just have it down, you get it a few times in a row, and then one day you're actually playing, and it just all goes to pot.
Op is having very little. That was a very interesting ice beam ricochet there. I'm pretty sure it just bounced off Exo's legs about 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
I was not aware we were playing Metroid Prime Pinball today.
She can mess with you a little bit.
Looks like Razor has decided to just deal with it and fight the ghosts.
Oh wow, okay. I mean, I think after a certain point you get fed up with it. It makes sense just to go with the way you know works, so it's just unfortunate that without extra supers this is going to be kind of a long fight.
I'm just trying to I think maybe try and get a small health and ammo refill. Ammo refill wouldn't be too bad, because Off has burned quite a number of missiles, and we're not even at Sub-Chamber 4 yet.
I don't think it's going to be too big a deal. He has enough for a couple supers, a couple ice spreaders here and there, so...
True. And we're in Sub-Chamber 4 now, so anything goes. We did see several weeks ago, we did see someone meme on EXO by flamethrowering power form. I want to say it was 3 weeks ago, yeah.
I've never done that myself, but it's a cute little thing you can show off to people who aren't familiar with it.
It might have been you, Inner Slice. I don't remember exactly who you were 3 weeks ago. It was a good time, though. I'll be in a little patient here with EXO, trying to just make sure to get the perfect shot.
Oh, nice turnaround. It's gonna clear out that phase completely. Although it was phase on, so, or not phase on, plasma. Apologies.
Yeah, Ice Plasma is basically the best combo you can get in this scenario.
Yeah, you really want to maximize the amount of time in those phases. And Op getting really good RNG, so going Ice Plasma, Ice Plasma. Well, not as much anymore, but
Power's alright if you Power's alright if you have distance left over, but at this point it's not. Op is now on the Essence fight. Meanwhile, Arrowracer has hit ghosts and is on his way out of Life Grove. Essence is in a very bad spot right now. Okay, she moved.
yeah.
Yeah, Essence tries to lower pool over the exit corpse. She'll instead just buy the shift and not lay the pool down.
Yeah. Really
Generally-
good first phase.
Generally not a good thing. Yeah, Essence being very cooperative here so far. Randomizer does have all 6 artifacts and is about ready to finish the game.
Yeah, in that same position that Alp was a little while ago, trying to figure out the elevators. Actually opted to go through Magmore, so
yeah,
team's decision.
Yeah, Alp only really died through Magmore in the early game and found supers, and that's about it.
Right. And now Alp is in position to just unload.
Well, whenever Essence reveals himself, but that is it.
There we go, GG.
Alp 82 will finish in first place on the restream, 3rd place overall with an official race time GG time of 1:33.11. 51 seconds later, RoboScout will finish in 4th place with an official race time GG time of 1:34.02.
Yeah, super close between those two, and I think Pyro's actually not too far behind, based on the way he's talking in race time chat. Is that Op?
It sure is.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, GG's.
Thanks. That was
So,
pretty good to see.
It was
really
very solid.
Yeah, it really was. A lot of things just happened to fall right into place. I think you routed it really well. You had some good final bosses, good OP fight. You really just played really well in this one. So
yeah, the routing really fell into place. Nice.
mm-hmm.
How about the first 20 minutes, huh?
I forgot.
Finding literally everything.
Oh yeah, all the memes and yeah.
Yeah, you had so much open to you. What made you make the decisions you made routing wise?
Um, I don't know. I was just kind of like going with the flow. Like it. I was looking for Magmore. From like starting in Chozo, I was looking for a way to Magmore, so that was my main goal. But then a couple of the elevators were vanilla, and then it just kind of led me to the back of Chozo, which was convenient, which led me to Monitor Station, which led down to Lava Lake, which led to Mines. I didn't have boost at that point, but as soon as I found X-Ray there, I was like, well, I can do everything here and kill LP. So
Yeah, after that point, it really was just like that. It just all fell into place.
yeah, and then Phazon was there, and wait, was it there?
Phazon was
No.
in Canyon and Boost was in Shorelines.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, oh right. Then it led to Phendrana. So yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, we turns out you ended up picking up Spider Ball a tad later and then going back for Gravity, but it turns out Gravity Suit and Super Missiles, for that matter, were a red herring today.
Yeah, but it did allow me a route back to ship. That was, I didn't have to take a bunch of elevators. I could just go through backwards frigate.
And at this
So
time,
that's
we should
nice.
report that Arrow Razor has entered a dot forfeit and will not be finishing. And it looks like Pyro has finished with a race time GG time of 1:35.25.
So last three within 3 minutes of each other.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Looks like we picked up Arrow Razor.
GG's.
GG's.
GG Arrow Razor.
Also, shout outs to being defeated by Life Grove Skip.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that
one's
Then- I sat doing that jump for about, I think, 3 to 4 minutes. And I was like, screw it, I'm fighting the ghosts.
Oh my.
Unfortunately,
it wasn't good today.
Yeah. Unfortunately, your routing just worked
Yeah,
out slightly less well. It wasn't terrible, but
Yeah, I ended up full clearing almost.
yeah, I mean, really the issue was that because you did Phendrana into mines, where
Yeah,
most
because
everyone
like
else
when I
did
found that Phendrana in an elevator, I realized I'm like, okay, there's only 2 left, and they're both mines. So I'm like, okay, let's clear out full Phendrana. I should have done if I'd done front of Phendrana first. That would have made a huge difference because there was nothing in the back of Phendrana or labs.
It's actually funny you say that because Alp was getting to Phendrana only about a minute or two after you found Boost Ball.
Wow.
Not even
Yeah.
because because the PPC elevator led to Shorelines.
Yeah. I think you made the right decision. Based on the information you had, it's just
Yeah, it just
sometimes
didn't work out this time.
Yeah, sometimes you make the right decision and you get randoed. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the lack of X-ray kind of sucked, so I had to go all the way back through mines.
Would you like to know where X-Ray was?
Yes.
Main quarry.
Oh my gosh! Ew.
yeah, I think Op went through main quarry first, and then through the rest of mines, and I'm gonna guess that most of our other players did the same thing.
Yeah, Alp went from Twin Fires to Lava Lake, and the Lava Lake elevator led to main quarry, whereas
which was my exit. Yeah, and I left through main quarry, didn't even bother checking the item.
And
given I had already done my mine stuff.
Yeah, and supers were also not far away from Lava Lake. They were in Storage Cavern.
I almost went that way first, but I was like, what if that elevator is mine, which in this case it was, and I don't have booster X-ray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of players in that situation are going to make that same call because you really do not want to go to mines in that scenario without either one of those.
Given this time it would have worked out because you would have gotten X-ray,
Yeah.
But
Well, I think what happened, at least with Op, was because of how far the elevator was out of the way, just deciding to go to mines then and there,
yeah.
and then hope that it
Well,
worked
no,
out.
yeah, and it did. And
Yeah.
honestly, doing that would have worked because then you could have just left through the PPC elevator at worst. The beams were super early.
They were, yeah. We were asking Op how, how about that first 20 minutes? Because in the first 20 minutes, we found
Almost everything.
just about everything except Phazon and Boost Ball.
Yeah, which was really scary because I was like, okay, I'm either going to find them very quickly and we're going to have a quick seed, or I'm going to nearly full clear the seed, which I did. I think I actually did everything except for Upper Mines and Lava Lake
Flagra. And
I didn't do
Flagra.
Flagra. I did
No.
Thardus though, but
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, neither of you went looking for stuff in Frigate until like post-go mode.
I didn't even touch Frigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Op ended up doing reverse Frigate just to get back to landing site because the elevators getting back to landing site weren't nearly as cooperative as getting to.
They weren't
Boost
too
and
great, and
Phazon.
I would have done this, and I think I would have done the same if I hadn't still had to go to Life Grove. I still had to go to Life Grove, so I went through Magmore. Back to the front of Frigate.
Also, shoutouts to your unfortunate 47 square maze.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
was
that maze was a nightmare. What the
Yeah.
heck?
horrendous.
I was sitting here, I skipped the fight. I'm like, okay, let me find X-Ray and MQA or something so I don't have to do the maze coming back. And then I was like, okay, no maze. Can I just go to the door without it locking? And then it locks in front of me. I'm like, all right, fine. Fine, I'll do the maze.
And Samus just rolls her eyes.
Yeah, oh, especially the length of that maze for a missile. I was also mad at MQA because I saw the ice run. I'm like, oh, cool. You know what? I'll actually go get this. And then realizes I have no power bombs. I'm like,
Yeah, power bombs were
okay.
kind of messing you up a little bit today.
Oh yeah, no power bombs. I was really hoping until I hit the boost ball that it wasn't in the back of Vendrana because I had to skip the check.
It wasn't. It was in Elite Research on the top. So it was locked by boost.
Wait, what was that again?
It was in the top of Elite Research.
What was
What
it?
main power bombs?
Main power bombs.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh
yeah,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Where were
peeked at
super?
that
Were
and-
Yeah,
supers
we didn't.
Supers were in Storage Cavern.
Right. Okay.
We didn't get a good look at the item in Elite Research, so
Yeah, I
I
peeked
thought it
at
was
it.
space
and-
on it first. So
Yeah,
but
I peeked at it and recognized the shape, so I didn't feel like doing the whole thing without boost just to get that, and I already
Yeah.
had 4. So
yeah, the shape,
Boost ended
a
up
dark
be-
circle.
Yeah, boost ended up being my go mode. When I found that, I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I found
that's what we
Phazon
figured
and
based on the
Boost.
way you were playing from there.
you both found your go mode items essentially in the opposite order. Op, you found boost then Phazon. Arrow, you found Phazon then boost.
Yeah, but as soon as I got boost, I'm like, okay, outside of checks that are directly in the way, I'm not checking anything else.
Oh, you both had some pretty, for the most part,
What?
despite besides the life growth hiccup, you both had some pretty fine movement throughout the course of this seed.
Race time chat, please. Pyro, please.
what up?
What? Pyro, did you use 2.6?
Oh no!
Okay, so now Pyro needs to
Okay.
sit back and play the
No?
actual seed if he hasn't already. What? How did he play the Rock seed? He still get the same time almost.
Yeah, I might have not
That's-
noticed that.
That's
That is
That's
That's
yeah,
the thing.
that's kind of impressive.
that's never happened
How
before.
did he know it was the wrong one?
He must have done 2.6.
I mean, we're
just
talking about where
that.
the item we're talking about where the items were. So
Oh yeah, true.
Oh, so he
Probably.
found. So I'm guessing he found Phazon and Boost in different places than we did.
Had
Yeah.
to have.
Oh,
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 I guess
Still-
you
yeah.
regen the seed. I guess
Yeah,
you
'cause-
regen the seed.
oh, it was the
Oh,
same
he
problem
played
I
the
had.
original Jin seed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. No, overall the seed wasn't too bad. It's just the way it got routed this time ended up leading to me basically full clearing the seed. Still a full clear in that time's not bad.
No, it's not. I think the
Yeah.
early having just all the besides boost, all the mobility and beams, just made a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of a
like
difference.
your movement felt great. And I was very happy with my movement today until life growth happened.
Yeah. We also noticed in Ruin Nursery you're struggling to get that power bomb after being pestered by bees.
Oh yeah, no. Those wasps were a nightmare. I noticed they were actually about to kill me. I'm like, hold up, I'm offing these things and then I'll continue. Yeah, they were just swarming me. I'm like, let me do my stuff, please.
Ay, ay, ay. We had some good fun watching this one, so you both put on a great show for us today. And a reminder to the audience at home, follow these two runners because of exactly what I just said.
Yeah. And also, don't forget to thank our tracker, Thoris. Couldn't do it without the trackers, so.
Thanks for commentating. Thanks, chat,
Indeed.
for watching.
Always a pleasure.
Tokapa,
Yep, it
thank
was
you
fun.
for
All right.
Tokapa, thank you for joining me in the booth. We will be back with Metroid Prime next week for our odd weekly, which will be our more standard vanilla start type settings. If you are looking
Yep.
for more Metroid Prime action in general, our next match in the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Randomizer tournament will be this tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Channel to be determined. But now
Nice.
we're about to start our third week of Swiss.
Yep. Can I
good.
not soft lock this week?
Well, good luck to both of you on the rest of the
Yep.
Echoes tournament. So,
Thanks.
GG, y'all. I'm
and
gonna hop out
are,
now.
yeah, I was gonna say, are you playing MD?
I am, yeah. I'm going up against
All right.
Diggle on Wednesday.
All right, good luck to you too then.
Thank you. But yeah, with that said, folks, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next mission.
See you.
Yep. Later.
Bye bye.